All right. Hello, world and Zoom world.
Hello. This is our first Zoom presented opera review, so welcome.
Had to do something a little different this time, but we're here and thrilled to be doing our 8th mini concert. All right, so for this, our 8th mini concert in our isolation series, we are thrilled to be doing some music by Toronto composer Frank Horvat.
And Frank wrote, for those of you who don't know, he wrote a huge project, Music for Self-Isolation, in which he wrote 31 pieces for different instruments, solo and duo. Over the course of a month, he wrote one every day. And we are presenting the 5 that feature voice. And do stick around for the end where we interview Frank and talk to him about this project and other projects. So stick around for that at the very end of the concert. Yeah.
But without much further ado, we will introduce our first piece and our special guest singer.
Okay. So our first piece is going to be performed by Emily Ding, a soprano based here in Toronto. Emily is a fantastic soprano and also photographer. So do check out her website, which we will list below.
Absolutely. And besides doing this project with us, she is our guest singer for this mini concert. She was actually the very first guest singer for Opera Revue ever when we first started doing live shows in bars 4 years ago, something like that. So it's actually really neat to have her back with us, even albeit at a distance. So please enjoy the beautiful Emily Ding singing this piece, which the lyrics are actually from a Shakespearean sonnet. So enjoy.
Yet in these thoughts, myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day, arising, 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 from soul and earth, sing him sad heaven's gate, for thy sweet love remembered such well springs that they now scorn to change my state with kings, with kings, with kings, with kings.
All right, so again, that was the lovely Emily Ding, and stick around because she does a couple more numbers.
And the next piece is another solo, this time performed by Danie. It's a beautiful piece in poetry by Meg Freer. We talked to Frank a lot about where the text came from, and you can hear some of that in the interview at the end of this concert, so stick around for that. But we post the full interview on our website and Patreon, so if you want to hear a little more detail about how the project came about and the various texts, then do check out the full interview with Frank. But next up is this solo piece from Danie.
Yeah.
Half-glass human, let down your guard. Don't drag baggage every step of the way. Don't breathe in the middle of the rain. hope is not a method. Take a step anyway. The sun is still our spinning jewel. Our spinning jewel. Take your feet with you. Look in the mirror every day on the way. Life is a full glass. Take a drink. Take a drink. Take a drink.
All right, so our next piece is a duo, one of the duos that Frank Horvat wrote, and this is for voice and guitar. So we are once again privileged to have the wonderful Michael McKenzie on guitar for this one.
Yes. Yeah.
Danie, do you want to talk a little about the piece?
Sure. It's a great piece. The text is really wonderful. It's by a poet named Kathleen Burke, who again in the full interview Frank talks about a bit more. And it's a bit more of a contemporary style piece than what we normally do at Opera Revue. So it's a little change for us too, but was fun to do. So enjoy.
If I never slept again, our sure realities would come to an end. For soft is the night in which I travel. Mysteries easier to unravel. A looking glass hangs on indigo sky, embedded with the olden delights. Things forgotten in the break of day. The knowing before we started to stray. With empty promise of easy tomorrows. And the jade to relieve all your sorrows. Those of us who remember the dance, the promise of transcendence in a shared glance.
All right, so again, that was the wonderful Michael McKenzie on guitar. We've been very lucky at Opera Revue here to have him as a sound engineer since the very beginning of all this, and he's thrown a bunch of instruments onto our pieces as we've gone throughout the months. So thank you for that. And next up, we got some piano vocal stuff.
Yes, so this is for voice and piano, which Emily Ding and I recorded separately. So this is something we've all had to get used to over the course of this pandemic, is recording things from a distance. And it was a real treat to be able to record this piece of Frank's, so enjoy.
I wish to grow small to fit in your pocket, like a stone that you carries repeatedly. Take me out and press thoughtful fingers, all unsmooth and rough, comfort and mystery. And when done with quiet contemplations, place me back inside the dark resting place that travels with you, that travels with you. If you reach for me and find me not, know that I can never be lost. For I am a stone you see in a pocket, a shoe, or on the ground. I am forever found. I am forever found. I am forever found. A stone. I am forever found. I am forever found.
Okay, so that was the wonderful Emily Ding again in that piece. Also poetry by Kathleen Burke for that beautiful number. And we have one more piece, which is a duet.
Yes, and this is actually the shortest piece in the entire series. It's the text is actually from Proverbs, and all the texts and all the pieces, as Frank talks about in the interview and the full interview as well, have to do with the human condition, and especially what we are experiencing right now in these times of despair, but also of hope. And so this is a beautiful piece to end our show with, and enjoy.
Know also that wisdom is like honey for you. If you find it, there is a future for you, and your hope will not be cut off. Cut off.
So once again, thank you to Emily Ding for joining us for this concert, as well as Michael McKenzie on guitar. It's been a great pleasure to work with them and to record these pieces of Frank's. And do stick around because we are about to hear some snippets of our interview we did with Frank.
Yes. So we had a bunch of questions for him, and you now get to meet the composer, which is we've had Meet the Artists, but we've never had Meet the Composers before. So here we go.
I think one of the best questions to start off with was like, what inspired this idea?
Back in March, last March when the pandemic started, and I had a whole line of things that were canceled, like most of us, right? We had a whole bunch of things that were just all of a sudden canceled overnight, and it was just honestly, to be blunt, it was so depressing, especially to listen to all of our colleagues and posting about what had gone away all of a sudden. And I just, I think you're asking me what's the thing that motivated this. It's primarily helplessness. That was what I just felt. I was thinking, what is it possible for me to do, in this situation? Being a professional composer, I'm often composing for a purpose. That's not to say that I never compose music just for myself or get inspired and I compose something, but most often it's being composed for a purpose. And I've thought to myself, how do I still maintain the feeling and the spirit of a purpose? And I was already envisioning, oh my gosh, we're all locked up. How am I going to still continue to connect with people or meet new people, right? So that was a big thing for me, to use what we all know, which is music, as a means to reach out and share, just like how we connected and how I've used these past 10 months, this beautiful journey, to connect with so many colleagues around the world. And it's just been a wonderful thing with this in mind, this shared collective thing we're all going through, and still think, okay, I can still do something musically. We can all do something musically together.
But we were going to ask you as well about, because you just mentioned you finished a recording project of these pieces recently, and we were wondering how that came about. I believe that's at Roy Thompson Hall.
Yes. So exciting.
So it is. That's one of those, when it'll all be said and done one day down the road, definitely I'll be one of those top 5 musical moments in one's career. You're just going to remember as such an extraordinary special experience. So, but yeah, when things really started, basically quick timeline. End of last March, I started writing the pieces, and then every day I released a piece, and I started circling it online, and then I ended up 31 by the end of May. And when I sort of wrapped it up at the end of May and said, okay, that's it, I've got enough, or I've had enough, of this output. And people are still playing, it's awesome, but I'm not going to add any more pieces here. 31 seems good. My wife and I, we sort of talked about it and said, well, what's the life of this project? The life of this project is to use it as a basis to talk about the experience of the musician, the challenges, the hopes and dreams for the future. So we wanted to just be more than, hey, play my music or sing my music or whatever. It's like, so we thought, if we released an album, to have a nice, beautiful keepsake and a memento with, a very polished performance, then we can continue to use that as a platform to bring attention. And so we applied for grants last spring and summer, and we started to hear back from them. And lo and behold, we're so grateful, we got some grants from Factor and from the Toronto Arts Council. So once we got the grants, we were like, okay, well, how are we going to record this? Well, normally in my life, when I want to record something, I go to the recording studio, right? Once you get the funding. And I thought to myself, well, this could be actually quite poignant and quite interesting if we if we did it in a place maybe of stature, because we are, 10 months into this. There still hasn't been any live performances. Who knows how long it will be?
Yeah.
If we were able to do it in a place which has got great acoustics for solo and duo repertoire, that was very reverberant for those types of instruments, but at the same time, sort of create a poignant setting to sort of tell the setting of, here I am all alone playing or singing on this huge stage all by myself while I see literally thousands of seats in front of me.
Yeah.
And that was sort of the concept and the vision. And as soon as we got the funding, we said, okay, if we like this concept and vision, let's just put out feelers. Let's just put out feelers out there to the big major Toronto concert halls. And we literally contacted them all. And you could, it really warms my heart because the community, all of them got back to us, literally.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Literally, all of them.
Wow.
And they were all excited about the concept and the thing. And we were all trying to make it work, which is so amazing.
You mentioned early spring. Do you have a date that you're hoping, like an actual date, or are you still just
We have a date, but I can't say yet.
Okay.
I can't say because there's too many moving parts yet in the next couple of weeks. So, but yeah, definitely going to be springtime. There's going to have to be something cataclysmic to happen, not to be, because I mean, that's when it all happened and went down. And gosh, if we're still in the stage now as it is now, right now, with a state of emergency, I hope it lightens up and stuff. But if it is, then I mean, just having the album come out then is going to be pretty big because gosh, what were we're all going to say in 20, 30, 40 years, what were you doing on March of 2020? Everybody has a March 2020 story moving forwards. Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you. Well,
Brilliant. Thank you, Frank,
for sharing this and for sharing with so many other musicians. It's a lot of our friends have been saying we've been lucky. Like we were we were isolated together, which was kind of handy.
Right.
We were able to make things that way, but a lot of people aren't. So to have solo pieces like that, I think is really lovely. It's a gift to musicians.
Thank you. That was definitely one of the main intentions for sure in starting it. So I'm really happy that spirit is still out there for sure. So.
All right. So once again, thank you so much to Frank Horvat for taking the time to chat with us, and also for creating this piece for musicians who are isolated and we're all having a hard time finding ways to make music, and also for people who are looking for music to hear and for looking for hope. We're very much looking forward to the album coming out, and and if you want to hear our full interview,
do head to our website or our Patreon, where we have the full interview where we spoke to Frank about this project, other projects, and how this all came to be. So do check that out.
Yeah, we make excellent interviewers.
I think so.
I'll stick to opera, thanks. I'll stick to singing. But thank you to everyone for watching. Again, subscribe below if you're enjoying this, and we will be back. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Our first Zoom.
Yes, all along, each by ourselves.